G. When we're looking at this problem, hopefully you start looking at this, and you should probably see this little L shape up here. It's defined by this piece right here, and this one. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference between this view or this view where we put some of those linear dimensions. Looking at the front view, we've got the little cutout here. We've got this little step up right here that's visual right here. We've got this little cutout. So I would still say going with this one, this front view, that this is where most of your features are going to be located, and I'm going to start dimensioning this part right here. So going across the top, we can always, you can always start off with the baseline and just see how that, not baseline, with a continuous dimension, see how that works out for you. If it gets too crowded, you could then go back and switch to baseline. Just a reminder that not only do we have the baseline dimension, we also have continuous. So if I wanted to use continuous, I could click on that point right there and make that continuous dimension. If I had a whole string of them, that would have saved me a lot of time. But remember, we're not going to complete the chain, so I'm going to leave this dimension empty, and then I'm just going to come across the top, and I'm going to choose to pick this point first, this one second, so that way when I pull my extension line and I type 1, it's going to space that 3/8 of an inch away from each other. Okay, so that's just working with my spacing. So that's the top. I could have used baseline in this as well, but my 1 inch fit nicely in there, so everything's okay. Looking at the bottom, we have the little notch out right here, so I'm going to start with the point, this point, and then move to the second one here so I can place that dimension 5/8 away from the part. So typing in 5/8. Then let's see what happens when I use continuous. That puts that 0.75. Oh, it went back to the first one. I can't do that. Oops. So let's erase that dimension. Let's go from here to here. Placing that dimension right there. That's going to get a little funky. So I'm probably going to do away with that. And I'm going to put a dimension from this end, and then type in 1. And use that baseline dimension. And let's just go ahead and see if this one fits in here nicely. It's still 0.5. I'm going to do baseline on that one as well. So this time I used baseline as the dimension, but I just didn't type it out. I didn't use the baseline command. I just kind of manually did the baseline. Okay, and oops, I might just already used that. Let me just move that over 0.375. All right, so then I've got baseline going on over here on the right side view because it just kind of worked out that way. On the top view, I just have regular spacing using the continuous dimension. But all of my features on the right side and the top seem to look okay. Now, the only thing I need to do now is dimension here on the bottom. So I'm going to start right here and pull this down 0.625. And while I'm here, I'm going to just go ahead and pick baseline for this. And then we'll pick the next point here. And then the bottom. Oh, we don't need that bottom dimension, do we? That's double dimensioning. So it's grouped at the top, so I'm going to leave that dimension there. So that will dimension everything on the front view. And now we just need to continue with the right side view. And we only have 2 dimensions here. I'm going to pull that up, 0.625. And then do an overall dimension. I mean, we could hit baseline on this one. And that made that a little bit quicker. So this little cutout has been dimensioned in the front view. We can subtract 0.5 from 1.75 to get this dimension. We know this. We know where this line is located based on our front view. And all of these dimensions here transfer to the top, and there's no other features in the top view that need to be dimensioned. So this is it for 375G.